Hello and welcome to another edition of Meet the Members here at the First Congregational Church of Fairhaven. I'm Pete Braley, a member here, and I am glad to introduce you to some people that maybe you see every Sunday, but you don't know anything about them. Where did they grow up? What do they do? Phyllis Goodwin is with us on this episode. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now, you weren't always a member of this church. How long have you been coming here? Do you know?
I've been coming here since 2014.
And what brought you here? Because you have a background in the Catholic Church, right?
I do. Actually, I was brought up Episcopalian.
Okay.
Yeah, and we went to Grace Episcopal Church in New Bedford. And then I didn't go to church. And in college, I kind of
Who needs that?
Religion.
Yeah.
And then I joined the Catholic Church here in Fairhaven. And I became disillusioned with it. But when my friend Joyce Howland, that was a member of this church, was murdered, I had gone to her graveside at the cemetery, and Betty was there, and I'm there, Reverend Betty, and I was there, oh my gosh. And then I went to the celebration of life.
Right.
And I was just hooked because Reverend Betty and the whole service was just something about it that spoke to me. So I said, I think I'm going to try that church. This was in October. Well, it took me until March to finally walk one block. I live one block away to finally come to the church. And I did. And it was just what I was looking for, that sense of community. Everybody was so welcoming. And I remember I sat in the third pew on the right from the front. That was my pew until after COVID. And Barbara and Skip sat behind me.
Right.
And Barbara welcomed me and told me this story about this teapot that she got for a souvenir from her son's wedding. And it was just like, I just felt like I was home. And then maybe a week or 2 weeks after that, my mom passed away, March 21st.
Oh.
And she was 105, so she had a good long life.
Wow.
And I told Reverend Betty, well, that Sunday, she asked for prayers for me and my family because my mom had passed away. And after church, people I didn't even know came up to me, gave me their sympathy, gave me hugs. And then I got all these cards in the mail from people I didn't know. And sympathy cards, and I was there like, this is unbelievable.
I don't even know these people.
I don't know these people, and yet here they were, genuinely caring. So I said, this is where I belong. This is my family. And so from there, I did everything. When they had a tea party, I was there. And when there was
potluck supper.
Thank you. Yeah. A potluck supper, I was there. Anything. And then I wanted to be a deacon. So now I'm a deacon. I volunteer at the thrift store. Anything to do with this church. I just love it, love it. It's really made a big impact on my faith. And my faith has grown so much since I've come here.
Let's go back. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you from the area?
We moved here in 1944. From New Bedford. We had a little apartment there, and we moved just a week after the hurricane.
Oh,
well, because I was just going to turn 3, so I don't remember it. But my mother said that there was no electricity. We moved one block away from the church here, and there was no electricity, and I was just going to turn 3. My brother was maybe a year and a half, and my brother and his friends moved us in, just dumped everything, my mother said, in the apartment and left with his friends to go out and drink.
Oh.
And she didn't know where anything was. She said it was really a nightmare. And my mother never moved.
Are you in the family house now?
And I am in the family house now.
Oh, wow.
Yep, where I grew up. Except we lived upstairs, and we rented, and they rented downstairs. And then in 1963, I believe, the landlord wanted to sell the house, and he gave my mother first option to buy it. So she bought it for $11,000, and it's worth quadruple that now.
Definitely. And, in the center, too.
And my mother never moved from upstairs. She would 101, and she'd be going up and down those stairs.
Wow.
And when the people moved out, I moved from my apartment in New Bedford into the first floor. I renovated, and I've been there ever since, and they'll have to arrest me to get me out.
So you must have gone to Fairhaven schools, right?
I went to Job C. Tripp School,
Okay.
which is no longer there, but the building is. And then we went to 7th grade there, and then we went to the high school, but they had the addition, which was the 8th grade. And then all the grammar schools, all the kids from all the grammar schools went to the 8th grade. So then we got to meet everybody.
So there was no middle school
There was
or
no
junior
middle
high.
school. No, this was 1950.
Okay.
And then I went to the high school, graduated in 1959, and went off to college, went to North Adams State Teachers College, which is now a university.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a teacher until it came up at a meeting. Is that something you always wanted to do?
Well, growing up, we had 3 options when we were girls. We could be a nurse, a teacher, or a secretary.
Secretary, right.
And so I couldn't be a nurse because it was, no, I just couldn't be a nurse. So I wanted to be a secretary. I want to be a private secretary. So my mother said, it's not like on TV, Phyllis. She said, you don't dress up in suits and high heels and go out to lunch. She said, you're going to be in a cubicle and you're going to be typing. She said, but you like to play school. Why don't you be a teacher? And I said, okay. I was easy to get along with. So that's actually how I became a teacher.
And where did you teach?
My first year I taught English at Fairhaven High School, where I graduated. That was not a good year for me. And then I taught 5 years English at East Providence Senior High School in East Providence, Rhode Island. Got married, and when I got pregnant, there was no pregnancy leave of absence, so I had to quit. When my son Michael, was born in 1970, so he was quite young, and I had a babysitter, and then what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. Substitute. I was a substitute teacher.
Substitute teacher.
Yeah, I was a substitute teacher for a while, and then I didn't work, and then we built a house and moved to Wasona. Oh. And then I had my daughter Susan 5 years later, and I substituted at the middle school in Freetown, Lakeville Middle School for a while. And then I got a job teaching 2nd grade at St. Anthony's Grammar School.
So you've done high school, middle school, and then 2nd grade.
And that was an eye-opener.
Good eye-opener or a bad eye-opener?
It was semi-traumatic.
Okay.
Well, I had my first year there, I had 36 2nd graders.
Wow.
No aide, just me, and I had never taught 2nd grade in my life. And I enjoyed it, but then I had a chance to move up to the 4th grade, which I liked a lot better. The kids were a little bit older.
What'd you like the best? What age?
I didn't like high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like high school. Some of the kids were okay. Some of the kids, especially, in a city like East Providence, they were tough.
All right.
And teaching English back then, it wasn't departmentalized, so I taught everything. I taught grammar, writing, literature, everything, and I had to fit that all in. So it was a lot of work.
Right.
So and 2nd grade was a lot of work.
So 4th grade was
but 4th grade, they're just
your sweet spot.
Yeah, they're old enough to still. You can talk to them, but they're young enough they still love their teacher.
I interviewed once a 2nd grade teacher in New Bedford, Marcia Guy. She's been a 2nd grade teacher for years. And I asked her, I said, why do you like this age? And she said it's because the kids still believe they can do anything. They haven't had doubt creep in, and the things that we get as we get older, So she thought she just loves to have that age, where they're excited, they want to learn. Yeah, I can do that. Hey, I want to be an astronaut. I want to do this. I want to do that. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
4th grade was good for you?
And 4th grade was good, too. But when I taught 2nd grade, because it was a Catholic school, I had to also prepare them for First Communion.
Oh, right. And
so I taught the First Communion class, in with the religion class, and I loved doing First Communion. When they made their First Communion in church on that day, I would go with my family. All the girls would be dressed like brides.
Right.
And the boys all had the white suits because there was a lot of Portuguese. So it was like very traditional. Like they had the girls' dresses made in Portugal, handmade and sent over. And the boys had the white suits and white shoes. And then the big bow on their sleeve. And it was really big deal. And then I moved and I taught there for 20 years. And then I went to St. Joseph St. Therese School in the North End. And I taught fourth grade there because by then I was teaching fourth grade and they had an opening. So I taught fourth grade there. But then they reconfigured everything and they changed the grades that everybody was teaching. And we were all sitting there at the meeting. We were all like crying because we just loved the grade we were teaching. And it's like, well, now you're going to be, Phyllis, you're going to be back in the second grade. And she said, well, because you had, you knew how to teach, the first communion and prepare the kids, and you taught second grade. And then the fifth grade teacher was teaching third grade. Oh, it was crazy. But so then I was back down to second grade, and I retired in 2007.
And you have two children?
I have two children.
And they're not local, are they? Because I know on holidays you go off for, I don't see you Christmas Eve because you're visiting, right? Where do they live?
Okay, my daughter Susan, who just turned 50 in June, traumatic for her.
And traumatic for you?
Well, semi, yeah, a little bit. She lives in Worcester with her husband, Pat.
Okay.
And my granddaughter, I have a grandson, Cameron, who just turned 25 in August.
Okay.
And then my granddaughter, Kira, who's 6 years younger, she's just going to be 19 in September, and she's starting her sophomore year at Bridgewater State University. My son, Michael, lives in Taunton.
Okay.
And he was a civil engineer. He graduated from UMass Amherst. Didn't like being sent here and there, here for 6 months, there for 2 years and whatever.
Sure.
And he's kind of like a family guy, although their family are 2 golden retrievers and no children. But anyway.
That's their children.
And so he decided to start his own construction business, just him.
Oh, nice.
And he did very, very well, but he just turned 55 in February. So he says, it's getting to be too much. My back hurts, my knees hurt.
Right.
So he applied for building inspector jobs, and he just got a building inspector job in Seekonk.
Oh, nice.
So he's happy with that.
I wanted to ask you, and I asked Marion Purrington this also, what brings you to church every Sunday? Because you're here just about every week.
I am.
Yeah, sitting up front. What brings you here every Sunday?
I think I feel a sense of peace. When I first come in, I like to, schmooze with everybody, chit-chat and with everybody, and I think that that's important. It's important for me.
Oh, yeah.
And to have that sense of community, which I feel. And then once I sit down and I listen to the piano music, and I just feel a sense of peace and really in touch with my spirit, in touch with God. I know that I'm always going to come away with something that really changes my life, and I think that's to do with Reverend Betty. There's always something, and even like when you preach, there's always something that's said that makes me, think and look at myself.
Right.
I want to be a better person. When I leave, it's like, I want to be a better person. I want to be that person that God wants me to be, and my faith strengthens. And when I don't come to church for whatever reason, which I'm in, Worcester, Christmas Eve day, because that's our tradition, and I can't get back in time. I miss that. I miss it.
Yeah. Well, you can usually see Phyllis on Sunday mornings, or also Heavenly Treasures Thrift Shop is a big part of your life too,
yes,
right?
It is.
What is that? What do you get out of that, coming and volunteering?
The people who come in, that's what really makes it for me. All the customers that come in. And through the years, I've been doing it for 2014. I started
11 years.
11 years. Thank you. I'm not good in math.
She taught English, people.
I taught English, not math. Some of the people who came in, they still come in, and I'm friends with them. And it's so funny because when somebody comes in, I always say, good morning, and, is this your first time here? Try to strike up a conversation with them. And then sometimes they tell me their life history. They tell me about their family, and they had an argument with their sister, or they don't get along with their mother, and they tell you all kinds of things, and I just listen Because
that could be all they're looking for.
I think that's it. They don't know me. They know I don't know anybody. They don't know their friends. I don't know their family, so they feel safe.
Right.
But like I laugh and joke and chit-chat with everybody. And the girls that I work with, just love them.
Right.
Love them.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Welcome.
That's been Phyllis Goodwin, who is a member here at the First Congregational Church in Fairhaven. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Meet the Members.